Okay, so let's look at the chapter four review C, and this is number two. So it's this proof that involves two sets of congruent triangles. Um, Now that the main key to this one is going to be in step five, where it says PAL is congruent to another triangle. Well, let's highlight PAL. Here it is. Now, you can probably guess it's going to have to go with the triangle that's over here. But I've noticed walking around in class when people were working on this one that they weren't quite sure how to label that triangle because it's not quite clear to me if it should go NAK or KAN. So let's just kind of do this. Let's write both right here, NAK or KAN. And I'll put a little question mark, and we'll come back to that once we've labeled some of the sides so that we can help kind of match up what goes in what order. So the first step, well, we're trying to match up the red ones, and here's one of my givens, PA equals KA. Okay, so let's just list that right away, because that does help with those red triangles. PA goes with KA is given. Okay. Well, I do have another given, and you can see here that I'm going to use a midpoint in step 3. So I better list my midpoint. A is the midpoint of LN given. So what that says is that this point is the midpoint of this line right here. So if I tell you that that's the midpoint, the first thing you should really be thinking about is, well, that means that this part equals that part. AL has to be the same as AN. That's the definition of it. That's what a midpoint does. It tells you that one part equals another part. Okay. So now let's see, we see that PAL right here has to go with NAK right there. Well, those are vertical angles. And we know vertical angles are congruent. Then it says PAL is congruent to something. Okay, now we have enough information in our diagram to figure out how to match this up. PAL in this triangle goes along the 1 tick mark and then along the 2 tick marks. So I'm going to have to go KAN to do 1 then 2 tick marks. So this is the one that wins. I'm going to put it right here, KAN. Okay, so then let's see what the next step is. 6 says angle L here goes with angle N here. Well, if you look at it, well, I already know the red triangles are congruent, and these are matching parts of them because this one is between the 2 tick mark and the none, and this one is also between the 2 tick mark and the no tick mark side. So I can say that they're corresponding parts of congruent triangles, so I know they're congruent. Oh, whoops, sorry, this goes here. CPCTC. We forgot to say why the 2 triangles are congruent. If you look at the red triangles, ignoring the new blue parts, I've got side angle side and side angle side. Sorry about that. Jumped the gun there. Okay. Now I'm going to aim for LAX here. So here's LAX. And you can probably guess, well, actually, it's not super easy to tell that I'm going to aim for the triangle on top. But if you look at this, I've got 2 tick marks here. So I'm going to go for the one that has 2 tick marks in it. So I'm going to go for NAY here. Right? And if you think about it, if I call it LAX, I'm going from this curve right here, this angle along the 2 tick mark side and in the middle, and then back out along that middle line. So I'm going to have to do the same thing up here. Go from the angle that I just took along the 2 tick mark side and in the middle, and then out to the middle of this side. So NAY. That's the way I'm going to label this triangle. And so already I've got a pair of angles matched up with L and N. I've got 2 sides matched up right here. So that means that the LA actually and NA help me with both of these sets of triangles. And then there's one more thing I can match up. I can actually match up this angle right here with this angle right there because they're vertical angles. So for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to make this angle 1 and angle 2, and that way I don't have to worry about the letters. So angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 because vertical angles are congruent. And if you look at the blue triangles, I now have angle, side, angle, and angle, side, angle in both triangles. So ASA. And then I can finish off my proof. AX is part of my blue, and that goes with the AY, which is part of the other blue triangle. So since I already know the triangles are congruent, I can say these are corresponding parts of congruent triangles, so they're also congruent.